What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on Teen Mom 2 Season 9 Episode 15. We started off the episode with some beautiful aerial shots from Chelsea and her family's vacation trip to Colorado. I was like, oh my god, are these people in Alaska? Because on Teen Mom OG, we always saw the most stunning shots anytime it was time for a Bristol scene. So it was cool to see Colorado through their eyes. Down in Florida, Briana went out to lunch with her friend Shirley, and they talked about her plan to bring her boyfriend John around her family. And Briana says that she doesn't want to hold hands or kiss or have any kind of affection in front of him, you know, just to not confuse Nova. She's like, I've never done that in the past and I'm not about to do that now. And by the way, if Nova doesn't like him, then it's our time for our relationship to end, because I'm never going to put a man above my child's feelings. And I was like, MTV, you are so deliberate in keeping this in, because we're about to watch Leah do that time and time again throughout this episode. Speaking of Leah, we get a scene of her driving her kids to cheer, and she's trying to force Jason as a stepdad to them. She's like, okay, Jason's gonna be coming to watch you guys at cheer. We all have to support each other whenever we've got an event. And she brings up to the girls the fact that their sister Addie had told her that Gracie wanted to poison Jason and that Allie had wanted to pinch him. Like, these are really extreme poison. You know, that was really crazy to me. And rather than ask them like why they would say something so outlandish about her boyfriend, she's like, you know, I think it's really crazy that you would feel that way, because Jason has never been mean to you guys. She then tells them that if they have any ill feelings towards Jason, they need to talk to them both. Girl, what do you mean your kids need to talk to you both about the problems they have with your boyfriend of a couple of months? Like, these are your kids that you're supposed to be protecting. Jason is not a parent to them. Jason is still a complete stranger to them, despite the fact that your genius ass has them living with him. So it was wild to think that this is what she thought was an appropriate thing to tell her kids, or an appropriate way to handle her children's, you know, glaring concerns with her boyfriend. Bring it up with me and my boyfriend, and then we'll discuss if your feelings are valid. Great parenting, Leah. Absolutely amazing parenting. Anyway, the girls do admit that Jason has never been mean to them, and, you know, again, she just kept on talking about how, you know, he's gonna be their stepdad. He's like another parent to them. And she felt so strongly about this that the poor little Tink tried to pronounce the word inevitable. She's like, you know, like, us just being a family is inevitable, you know, girls is, it's inevitable, girls is. So like him, that's my boyfriend, you better like him. So anyway, in Delaware, Kail FaceTimes her friend Becky. Guys, is Becky her only friend this year? I remember the last season, literally everybody within a 50-mile radius was Kail's best friend. Like, her house was a constant party house full of people, and now this season, all we see is FaceTime calls and random hotel visits with this one Becky character. So anyway, she FaceTimes her and talks about how she's been helping to plan her sister's baby shower, which is super duper nice. Kail's got 3 young boys on the go, so it's nice of her to help out with her sister's baby shower, especially from a long distance. Now, she says that she and her sister don't talk as much as she'd like them to. You know, honestly, it kind of sounds like they don't really have that much in common, and because they were raised so separately, it kind of feels like 2 random girls trying to force a friendship rather than a sisterhood bond, which is, you know, quite sad, but it is the way that life goes for some people. Things get really weird in North Carolina, where MTV producers admit that they don't want to film Jenelle in North Carolina anymore, because every time they attempt to, David comes and crashes the party. Remember, they don't want to film with him anymore because he is racist, sexist, homophobic trash. So they do not want him on their network. And every time Jenelle tries to do her one job in life, he comes and ruins it, which is so crazy, because David is an unemployed bum who lives off of his wife. So him ruining his wife's job is him ruining and sabotaging his own life and the life of his children. So instead of filming Jenelle, we get a scene of that annoying producer FaceTiming her. And the connection was so bad. you know, like half the time she's like buffering, or it's saying screen not loaded. So you're seeing like crap in her scenes. Like at this point, just get rid of Jenelle and give us another train wreck. There's so many girls from 16 and pregnant to choose from. There's Nicole, there's Whitney, there's Makai or whatever her name was. There was another chick whose name slips my tongue. Give us someone else. Pretty much all of Leah's scenes were filmed in her car via the GoPros. So she is driving her girls to Cheers still, and you know, trying to force Jason on them. She's like, you know what, you guys, I don't know how you feel about Jason. Like, I don't get all this like stuff that you've got these mixed feelings, but Jason loves me, so he loves you. Like, he loves me and all of my baggage. So don't worry, he loves you. Like, imagine calling your children baggage straight to their face. Like, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, because we all know she's, you know, a few watts short of a light bulb, so she doesn't realize that she just insulted her children. But anyway, one crazy thing here when she was talking about how Jason loves her kids was that Gracie said that Jason loves her the most because she looks like Leah. When she said that, I was like, hold up, what? Like, rewind that back. I literally had to watch Leah's scenes in this episode back to do this recap, sorry, because I was just so like, you know, red flag alert. I really wish that Leah had interrogated Gracie on where she heard that from, because it is extremely, extremely disturbing. Like, you know, if that ever happened with my non-existent kids, like, I would be ready to shoot a bitch. And here she is just driving along like nothing's wrong. And, you know, it's really sad because these are her children to protect. And here she is for the millionth time, you know, forcing them to fake a family with a random strange man only a couple months in, like, living with them. Like, Leah is absolutely reckless, and it's sad. Anyway, when they're driving back from cheer practice, we got Addie now, and Leah tells Addie that the twins told her that they didn't say that they wanted to pinch and poison Jason like she reported. Addie gets Gracie to fess up, and Leah tells Gracie that she shouldn't say those things when she's upset at her and Jason for just being parents. For the millionth time, Leah, Jason is not these girls' parents. Stop confusing them with all of these freaking dads. She then asked them if they love Jason, and you know, there is an extremely palpable and telling silence in the car, and then she singles them out one by one to get them to claim to love him, and you know, she still gets silence. Gracie actually basically says no under her breath, but Leah kept on pushing instead of just listening to her kids and their very valid feelings. Addie then says she likes Jason as a friend, but that she doesn't like him. Another cause for pause in my very amateur opinion, because typically you hear someone saying, I like this guy as a friend, when it's like a woman who's not, you know, into a guy romantically. So to me, I'm like, where the hell did Addie get that from? I don't know. But again, this is another wonderful opportunity for Leah to investigate on what's really going on with her girls and their feelings toward Jason. Like, both of these are happening in one car ride. Like, alarm bells should be ringing in her mind, and I really, for the love of God, hope that Dr. Drew calls her out for the amount of men that she's had living around her very, very, very young daughters. This is the third man that these girls have been living with. Now, in another half-assed Jenelle scene, we get a video of a strung out Amber Portwood giving Jenelle, you know, legitimately good advice about David Eason being an abuser and a loser who mooches off of her. And, you know, she says that she recognizes the signs of abuse as a former abuse victim herself. Jenelle then gets on Instagram Live, also hi, and she starts talking about how Amber's men are the ones who are always with her kids and not her. And that Amber's the one who went to jail for domestic violence. And it was like, Jenelle, you're so dumb, because, you know, although that is true of Amber being a very hands-off, like, you know, cousin, big sister to her kids, the same could be said about you. Like, you've barely been with your kids, and last episode you were talking about how it was the longest time you've been away from your husband. Meanwhile, you've got like a 1-year-old at home, and you're not batting an eye over that. And also, Jenelle, your man had a lot of charges. I'm not sure if he went to jail or if they were dropped, stemming from domestic abuse, where he was literally beating his pregnant girlfriend who was pregnant with his own son. So pot calling the kettle black here. In Florida, Briana comes home with John, and Nova's super shy, but Stella offered him something to snack on, which was really funny considering she's been warm to every guy that Briana's had around but her own deadbeat daddy. You know, again, I always say kids and dogs know people's spirits, and they just don't like ugly. Chelsea finally gets a scene longer than a whole 30 seconds when she and her family return home from their vacation in Colorado, and Cole starts talking about how she noticed something was off with their home, and that he had started looking around and realized that their closet had been ransacked. Chelsea says that she now wants to move because of the whole situation, and Cole is initially against the whole move. He's like, it's a bit drastic, and Chelsea shot him one of her death stares. And Cole eventually was like, I mean, if you want to move, we could move. You're the boss or whatever. And it's just another example of how people in Chelsea's life operate with her. A couple of questions in this scene. Number one, Chelsea and Cole did not have any sort of security in place. To me, that was bizarre, as people who are on a reality television show with very young kids living in the middle of nowhere. Like a simple Ring camera or an Arlo out there, or a Nest. I think they have outdoor cameras, indoor camera as well. You would have had sirens. You would have had alerts letting you know someone was in your house, so you can call the cops like in time. Like, you know, the sirens would have deterred them actually in the first place. Like, it's just so crazy to me that these people go with their young kids on TV for the world to see where they live, and they don't even have the common sense. And it's not even just them. I'm sure none of the other girls really have any to have security cameras in place. Like, come on, like, I'm so rattled by that. And again, let me just point out really quickly how slick and shady MTV is with their editing. Like, when they were rolling the past episodes to prep us for this one, they showed a highlight of Chelsea being like, look at all this land. I live in the middle of nowhere. Who wouldn't want to live in the middle of nowhere? And then, like, here she is now too scared to be in her home alone during the days. It's like, okay, I guess that answers your questions on why a lot of people don't want to live alone in the middle of nowhere. Back to Kail, who's been very quiet this episode, by the way. She arrives at her sister's baby shower, and she talks to her sister about how the baby will test her relationship with her boyfriend and everything. And then we go back to Leah, who tells her boyfriend Jason at his home that one of the twins wanted to poison him while the other wanted to pinch him. And she laughs about all of it, but it really wasn't cute. She explains it all as them just being mad that he's helping to catch them in trouble. And for some reason, Jason has this very wild analogy where he compares raising the twins and Addie. And for some reason, Jason has this very wild analogy where he compares raising the girls with training a puppy or a horse, and that there needs to be an alpha in the home, which of course is him. Again, cause for pause. Like, this guy is always criticizing her parenting skills, her baby daddy's parenting skills as well, and now he wants to be the alpha with your children that he's known for a few months? Sis, like, wake up. What's wrong with you? Anyway, in Florida, John finally gets to meet Roxanne, and they go out for dinner, and she promptly calls him fat and asks why he doesn't have any kids yet. I mean, he's over 16. He should have a couple by now. He says that he's not running around town popping out kids because he's terrified of child support, and that it's a man's biggest fear. First of all, I feel like he shaded Briana with the not running around popping out kids, because Briana, if you know her for 30 days at least, it's time for you to have a kid. You're on the kid plan with her. And second of all, him saying that child support is a man's biggest fear rubbed me the wrong way, because I feel like he should have said, a proper man, sorry, would have said, you know, I'm not having all these kids because my biggest fear is raising my children in a broken home. You know, and continuing that cycle that so many fall into. Not the whole child support thing, because you would want your children to be well taken care of, and you should be more than happy to support them. So, you know, again, I got major F-boy vibes from him, but is anybody really surprised? In the final scene of the episode, Nathan and his girlfriend sit down at the marina, and he talks about how David does nothing for Jenelle, and that Jenelle needs to stop being so defensive, because literally everyone is just trying to help her wake up to the fact that her husband is a deadbeat loser who abuses her. And then he really tries to get his girlfriend to say that Jenelle is an unfit parent, but Ashley doesn't bite. She's like, I think Jenelle could be okay okay alone. It's just that with David, she's not stable enough to be looking after the kids. And the episode ends there. You guys, what did you think about this very wild episode? Teen Mom 2, Season 9, Episode 15. As usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more. Feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.